What's going on, everybody? Marcus here. I want to talk about WrestleMania 38. It was by far one of the best pay-per-views this past weekend. Watched it with my friends, and the returns were great, the matches were awesome, and just everything was incredible. So if I have to rank WrestleMania 38, I definitely give it a 10 out of 10 because the performances were great and all the matches were memorable too. So it was incredible. So seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin return from night 1 and night 2 was actually really awesome. So not only did he have his match with Kevin Owens, he also came back for night 2 after the match between Pat McAfee and Austin Theory with Mr. McMahon at his corner. So afterwards, when Pat McAfee won, Austin Theory the SmackDown on Pat McAfee, and then McMahon and Theory were in the same ring together, and then boom, you heard Stone Cold Steve Austin music. It was his glass shattering, and so he came back and actually stunned Austin Theory, and then stunned Mr. McMahon, which is also a botch too, and then had a beer with Pat McAfee, which was a great moment. Had a beer with him, and then he stunned McAfee too, and not to mention prior, he also stunned Brian Saxton too, which is so hilarious. But the top of that is seeing Austin again was actually pretty cool, so it was awesome. But another highlight for me, if I had to name my favorite highlight moment, was definitely when the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes returned. So it's been 6 years since Cody stepped foot in a WWE ring. So we all know his moments from when he was outside of WWE, when he was in Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and even in AEW. So the moment I heard Kingdom, I legitimately marked out. It was one of the best songs ever, and I love Kingdom. It's actually one of my favorite theme songs as well. I even work out to Kingdom, so it was really cool. So seeing Cody again was actually one of my best moments for me because I've been a Cody Rhodes fan for a long time, always supported him and the Rhodes family, so I've always thought that he was definitely destined to be WWE champion. So after his match with Seth Rollins, it was really cool. So he actually cut a promo this past Monday talking about how he wants to become WWE champion, which was his main goal from the beginning. And so now that he solidified himself and now he's done all this stuff, the only thing he wants to do is to become WWE champion, which was something that his father didn't have a chance to do, to hold the title legitimately, because Dusty Rhodes actually won the WWE championship back in Madison Square Garden, but had to forfeit it. And so Cody talks about that too. And so his destiny is to become WWE champion for the Rhodes family. So he was talking about that, and I think that the most important thing for Cody at this point is to definitely be WWE champion. So I think that my opinion on that is that he should be champion. So that's what I think he should actually at least go ahead and try to do. So, but the thing is what everybody's been talking about is now that Cody's back, who can he face? And on top of that, what I've been hearing as well, considering that Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar to become the unified WWE Universal Champion, he's the next target to try to dethrone Roman Reigns is Cody Rhodes. And then there are other wrestlers who are named as well besides Cody. Actually, there's one, as a matter of fact, which is Bron Breakker. Now, Bron Breakker is the son of Rick Steiner and the nephew of Scott Steiner, the Steiner brothers, who were just inducted into the Hall of Fame this past weekend. So I know that he's still in NXT, and he just wrestled his match on Monday Night Raw to reclaim his NXT championship from Dolph Ziggler. So now there's another scenario that Bron Breakker, whenever he gets an opportunity to wrestle for on the Reign roster full-time, they also named him as a guy to dethrone Roman Reigns as well. So it's an interesting debate because you have two of the top guys in wrestling right now. You have Cody Rhodes and Bron Breakker. And I know Bron's definitely going to get another championship push if or whenever he drops the NXT champion, which he's a good champion right now for NXT. But if he ever decides to become, let's say whenever he goes to the main roster, if he gets pushed for another title, I think the Universal or WWE Championship would be good for Braun because not only that, but, he has a good look. He's athletic. He's explosive in the ring. He has high intensity, high energy, like he always puts it. High energy, high intensity. So he can definitely be one of the top guys to be pushed as well. I actually heard from Planet Productions, he was talking about the exact same thing too as far as like, well, who are the top two guys to basically challenge Roman Reigns for the Unified Championship. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna hear him out real quick, and then we can pretty much get our thoughts and the same thing too. So without further ado, let's do it.
Roman Reigns is officially the undisputed WWE Universal Champion after defeating Brock Lesnar in the biggest WrestleMania match of all time. That was a bit anticlimactic. Regardless of the quality of the bout, we need to move on and answer the question, who should dethrone Roman Reigns for the World Championship? If you take a look at his track record, this man went through everyone. Jey Uso could not get the job done. Kevin Owens failed a few times.
Jey Uso,
Bryan was unsuccessful.
Daniel Bryan,
Edge
Kevin
got
Owens,
humbled.
Edge,
John Cena's huge return and spike in popularity still wasn't enough. Finn Balor never really had a chance.
Finn Balor.
Rollins got rocked, and Brock Lesnar is the newest individual to be added on that list of his current title reign of people that could not defeat the Tribal Chief. It seems like the Tribal Chief has literally defeated every top star that WWE threw at his way, and that is why this question is harder to answer now. I tried to answer it about 7 months ago, but that list seems to be inaccurate now because Finn Balor lost, and the WWE released a lot of guys. In today's video, I'm going to name the only 4 wrestlers that could realistically dethrone Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. The first person on the list is the wrestler that WWE should book to beat Roman Reigns for the championship. Nobody really comes close, and that man is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes should dethrone Roman Reigns for a ton of different reasons. The most important one being that he's the company's second biggest star in the men's division, right outside of Roman Reigns. When it comes to popularity, it is Roman Reigns at number 1, and then Cody Rhodes right there at number 2. The WrestleMania Google search numbers also came out, and Cody Rhodes was even more searched than Roman Reigns. That is pretty impressive. Then again, it was his grand return, so the circumstances were a little bit different. Anyways, the American Nightmare is clearly one of the biggest names right now in the WWE, and what you do with those names, you put the World Championships on the biggest wrestlers. That is how this business has always been. It doesn't even matter that he's 36 years old. Cody Rhodes is here to...
So like I said, basically Cody is not going to go anywhere because he signed a multi-year deal with WWE anyway. So I think with him signing that particular contract, he definitely wants to be WWE champion because he had the conversation privately with Mr. McMahon and how he wanted things done. So, and then on top of that, considering the fact that he's also responsible for being the co-founder to one of WWE's latest competition these days is AEW, I say it definitely put him on the mark as being more competitive and more marketable as well. So it's something to think about in particular.
For at least the next decade, in my opinion. I don't know if he's going to go back to AEW, but at least 5 years. I think he's the right person because the story is literally right there for WWE. Last night, Cody spoke about winning the title that his father could never win. It was emotional, and I believe that it will be even more emotional if he accomplishes this goal. The WWE can even build a story around Cody Rhodes versus Roman's family and their legacies playing a role in it. What's even more important than all of that, though, is that this would be great for AEW wrestlers to look at WWE when their contracts are up. All Elite Wrestling has done a great job at making every wrestler fear from joining WWE. But if Cody can become the world champion, then it could get the attention of Wardlow, Jade Cargill, and MJF. Cody is basically a lab rat, and the WWE has to treat him right in order to bring more talent from other companies.
That's a good way to look at that too.
The only person that was featured in my previous video on who should dethrone Roman Reigns that also makes it on this list is Seth freaking Rollins. It has honestly been forever since Rollins has been the world champion. In fact, it's been about 3 years. The last time Seth Rollins was a world champion, the pandemic wasn't a thing, and Chad Gable's name was Shorty G. So
to
say that a
he
lot
was Shorty G too, Chad Gable.
That is why Seth
Oh, thank
Rollins is due
you.
for another World Championship reign, and beating Roman Reigns would probably be perfect. If you also consider the fact that he's doing the best work of his career right now, then you can agree and say that he definitely needs to win a belt. Also, the way that the Royal Rumble match ended, he needs some redemption. You cannot end it like that. Roman Reigns literally beat the crap out of him. He disqualified himself and then obliterated him with a steel chair. Seth Rollins didn't even do anything about this. The WWE has an opportunity to give him a big babyface push while having him defeat Roman Reigns. If I was booking it, I would have Cody versus Seth versus Roman at the next pay-per-view just for the WWE Championship, and that is when Cody pins Seth Rollins, so therefore Roman doesn't get pinned, but he still wins the title, and then down the line, Seth Rollins would have a singles match with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam and beats him clean. That way, you have Cody and Seth as the world champions, and Roman Reigns can wrestle The Rock without making it a championship match.
Yep, I agree.
Braun Breaker is 24 years old, and I already think he is going to be WWE's next big star. The young, promising star has been a massive success in NXT over the last year. WWE can mimic the booking I just mentioned. Cody beats Roman for the WWE title, and Bron Breakker is the one to finally pin him clean for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 39, and I would not even be against this idea. Bron Breakker has the talent, he has the look, and he has the athletic ability. It would make total sense to use Roman Reigns to make this kid an absolute star. I'd imagine that this moment would be very similar to The Rock versus Brock Lesnar from SummerSlam in 2002. Braun should be pushed to the moon. Some fans will say that he's being shoved down our throat, but I say who cares? This is a big investment, and you need to treat them like stars.
Exactly.
A new report even came out stating that
I like
WWE
Braun Breakker
wants
too.
younger superstars to be on the main roster at a young age, and not when they're 35. There isn't a better young talented wrestler than Bron Breakker right now. This seems unrealistic, but the WWE should really consider it, as I believe it would be a very good idea. It's definitely a risk because you don't know how well he would do on the main roster or how long he would stay in the business. Like I said, it's a risk, but that is a risk that the company has got to take. This could only happen if The Rock does not wrestle at WrestleMania next year, but some could even make the argument that building the future of WWE is more important than a match with The Rock. I'm not going to tell you what I think, but you guys can go crazy in the comments below.
Yeah, I agree. Gable Stevenson's one
The
too.
last person that could possibly defeat Roman Reigns and dethrone him from his championship reign is Gable Stevenson. Out of everybody on this list, he is definitely the least likely to be the one that beats Roman Reigns, but there is still a slight possibility. The company is clearly all in on him. He made his WWE debut technically at WrestleMania in a segment with Chad Gable. It was a fun moment, and I think Chad Gable would probably be an ideal first opponent for him. WWE booking Gable Stevenson to pin Roman Reigns, becoming the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, would be huge for his career. It would be monumental. It's even believable because this man is an Olympic gold medalist just like Kurt Angle, and he's kicking everyone's ass around the world, so he could definitely kick Roman's ass. Part of me thinks that this idea would simply be rejected by the WWE audience. Seems like they wouldn't be happy with him because some people weren't even happy with his appearance at WrestleMania 38. But I don't think it matters. The WWE seems very adamant at making this guy a star, and this could be the way they do it. I can see it happening. The main concern with Gable Stevenson being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns is the fact that he really does not have any WWE or wrestling experience when it comes to pro wrestling. Like, I understand he's an amateur wrestler.
Yeah, well, Kurt Angle didn't either.
But he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the experience of the camera work, where to be in the shot, and all that kind of stuff. The facial expressions are also very important, and he's very far behind. So if you do want this guy to beat Roman Reigns, I think it might have to take 2 years, and I don't think that WWE is going to wait until WrestleMania 40 for Gable Stevenson to beat Roman Reigns. So that might be a problem, but you never know. Some people learn this stuff really quickly. We will have to wait and see. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys.
Yeah, so I agree. I mean, Kurt Angle didn't have the exact same experience either when he wrestled. He's also an Olympic gold medalist when he won the gold medal back in 1996 in Athens. And considering that Gable Stevenson has been compared to Kurt as being the only Olympic gold medalist to win as well, I mean, that's a great comparison because now you have 2 Olympic gold medalists as well. So, yeah, I think Gable Stevenson's a good one, too. I mean, his appearance, especially his segment with Chad Gable, was actually pretty hilarious. So, I mean, he can definitely go hand in hand, and especially go toe to toe with some of the top talent there as well, because it was also displayed when we took out Chad Gables from American Academy, so it was actually pretty cool. But Alpha Academy is pretty good too. So I mean, I don't really see Gable wanting to join Alpha Academy, considering that he just had a beef with Chad and Otis at the same time. So I don't really see that happening. So, but yeah, these are great lists. And like I said, with Bron Breakker, he'll definitely be a good one for sure. But I think that considering the fact that Cody just came back and he's on Raw right now, he'll probably more than likely go to SmackDown as well. But considering that he came back, he's like one of the highest guys that you can see that will get the main push as well. And I know it's been 3 years since Seth Rollins has been WWE champion, but to have him going up against Roman again, I mean, it'll be pretty cool, but they already had their match at Elimination Chamber, so I think that they should pretty much at least save it for another time. But as far as something new and something fresh goes, have Cody Rhodes go up against Roman Reigns, because think of the dynamics there, because we're talking about two family bloodlines, pun intended, of the Rhodes and the bloodlines of the Anoai family too. So you think about these two families clashing with each other, I mean, that's going to be pretty awesome. So, and then Cody has, not saying he has much more to prove, but he has much to have a stake on. He has much to be staked on because he wants to do it for his father. So, and that would be pretty awesome too, to have Cody dethrone Roman for the WWE Unified Championship. I mean, like I said, if I was working for creative, that's what would be my ideal, is having a story dynamic between two dynasty families going up against each other. So, because we all know that the Rhodes families have ties in WWE, so have these two families, the Anoai family and the Rhodes family, collide with each other. So it makes sense to me. So, I mean, that's how I would do it if I was booking it for creative as well. So, I mean, WWE Creative should just hire me, because I'll definitely be killing the whole creative process too, though. So, but yeah, WrestleMania 38 was awesome. Let me know what you guys think from the bottom of the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Like this video, share this video. We're on the road to 300 subscribers, so definitely want to keep up the rankings of the numbers. So yeah, keep sharing this video. You guys keep doing your part. I love doing these reviews and talking to you guys. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions, let me know. What are your thoughts of WrestleMania 38? And if you guys had a chance to watch it, it's on Peacock, so you can always go back and watch the events again. But let me know what you guys think. I'll be back for the next video as well. So let me know what you guys think, and continue to be love, spread love, continue to make this world a better place. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.